Don't say any F's and stuff.
Blazing the steel. Bring the heat. Mixing non-stop. With the hottest DJ.
I'm your host, Joshua Diaz.
Non-stop.
Welcome to Lab After Dark. How's everybody doing? It's good to see you. Good to be here. Two very oddly timed shows today, but here we are. Nonetheless, if you haven't checked out the Morning Drive show, please head on over there right now. Actually, just put it on the watch later. Stay here. Head on over there after this show, if you so please. Kay's Candle. Let me see here. There we go. Kay's Candle has been a member for 11 months. 11 months, man. That's way back. I don't even, maybe that's the very beginning. I don't remember if it is or not. Wow. 11 months. Well, you said hello everyone. It says 7 months, but you're getting credit. You're getting credit for 11. So I'm just kidding. 11 months. You said 7. Come on now. Sandra Harrison, love the Lab After Dark time. Yeah. A little impromptu. It's always fun, right? Enjoyable. Not a normal time for us to be on, but nonetheless, very good. Always enjoy. Anytime really is a good time. How's everybody doing? Good to be here. It is, I was a little late, 10:11 here on the West Coast. Good to see you. Good to be here. And I want to give special thoughts to the people in Florida and now along the East Coast as the hurricane continues to dump just record amounts of water. I don't know that much about hurricanes, but I do know that was a big ass hurricane. I mean, just from a size standpoint alone, it looked absolutely terrifying on a map from across the country. Yeah, I mean, and we can talk about that a little bit more later. But holy crap! And as you guys know, on this channel, I've always kind of had a Florida thing going on. We always talk about Florida, make fun of Florida sometimes just because of some of the crazy headlines that go on there. But, just looking at that devastation is really something else. I don't even know. I'm not even sure how you would be able to pick up the pieces. I'm not sure how, I had a cousin who lived in Paradise during the fire, the Paradise fire, and he lost his house. And I remember it's just like, everything, it's just gone, everything's gone. And it's horribly tragic. I don't know how you would just start over. I don't know, but they do. People do. I remember the last thing he did was, man, it was so crazy. What he did was he climbed up on his roof and put a sprinkler up there in hopes, that it somehow, some way would affect something. And it didn't, but desperate times call for desperate measures. And that's what happened. And, so just losing everything to me is just, it's insane to even think about, let alone actually having it happen to you. And, I was thinking about this as well. Think about, so it's been reported that there's been, and this number could be off now, but now they're saying it is about 17 dead, confirmed. 17 confirmed. And you go, well, isn't this preventable? Isn't it preventable? Like, why wouldn't you get out of there? Yes. Yeah. A sprinkler. I don't know. He was just trying whatever he could. He was just trying whatever he could. First of all, like I said, I've never been evacuated in a hurricane. I've never been in an actual hurricane. I've been in tropical storms and stuff like that, but I've never been in a hurricane. And so I don't know, what does an elderly person do when they're stuck with that hurricane barreling down? What happens? Are there programs to get them out of there? I don't know. And sometimes you would think some people, yeah. And yeah, absolutely. That's another thing. Some people don't have the money to leave. Some people feel like they've been through this before and that it's not going to happen the way that they said it was going to. And because it was like that in the past, it's going to be this way. And then this time's different. So it's just terrible. I can understand from that standpoint, people wanting to stay. I can understand not wanting to leave your home, your property. I understand all that. And so it's evacuating in a sense is, I would assume much, much more easily said than done. And it's weird too, because I don't know if it happened this time, but I remember in the past there was like these gouges in gas price. Not that gas isn't expensive enough as it is, but what would happen was they would hike up fuel station would just hike up fuel because you're basically screwed. You don't have a choice. And I think that's against the law now, but I'm not 100% sure. But that was what used to happen. And I don't know if it happened this time or not. But yes, there are people that absolutely cannot afford to leave. And people get trapped on the roofs of their on the roof of their house. And it's just a terrifying, situation. Everybody thinks back to Katrina, and what made Katrina so great. I remember watching this in I think it was in middle school. It was a documentary about, what was it? It was just like one of those like Hooked on Phonics things. But what they were talking about was how New Orleans was below sea level. They built a city below sea level. And when they did that, there were obviously some concerns. Then you had the levee situation and so on and so forth. And in this little whatever Bill Nye the Science Guy video, they basically showed how New Orleans was kind of like it was like a bowl. It was like a fish bowl, a shallow fish bowl. And if there were ever to be, it was like a category 4 or 5 hurricane hit. And this is years before Katrina. Then, it would be catastrophic. And I just remember thinking, who would build a city below sea level? Like, at sea level is bad enough. Below sea level, obviously, is you're set up for disaster. So there were a lot of people, engineers and scientists and whoever, were kind of like, it's not if, but when this happens. And that's basically the story of Katrina. I mean, between the levees and the sea level, you're going, good Lord. And it is terrifying. And just so many displaced people, I think New Orleans it'll never come back to the New Orleans of before, but they definitely have regrouped and done all those things. However, a lot of people left. I mean, they were just tired of it. They were displaced. They were put, people had to go to Texas, people had to go to Baton Rouge. The people in Baton Rouge didn't like the people from New Orleans. And then the people from New Orleans were like, we're not getting our feet. The whole thing was just an absolute nightmare, as everybody probably knows. And it, it's just a terrifying thing, that storm, this last hurricane that just slammed into Florida was an absolute monster. So enormously big. And right now, like I said, the death toll stands at, said 17 3 hours ago, but I probably would end up over the 100 mark at some point. I really hope that's not the case, but yeah, I would, even when I was younger, I used to go, why don't people just leave? And I get why they can't leave now. I didn't really think about it at the time. I didn't really understand at the time why people couldn't just leave. But they can't. It's just not that simple. And then I saw a bunch of, I don't know who sent this to me, but it was all these linemen, on the panhandle, and you could see basically the wall of the storm getting ready to come in. And, it's just, yeah, that's another thing that I don't understand. I mean, it should be against the law, to price gouge gas, especially during an emergency. But, I don't know. I don't know who could regulate that. Mary Warren says we evacuated to Texas from Katrina and didn't come home for 8 years. Had to come back home for family though. See, 8 years. And I knew somebody that lived in Baton Rouge at the time, and they were legitimately mad that people from Louisiana were moving into Baton Rouge. It seemed like not just her and her brother and her, it was like her brother, her parents. I mean, they were all very, very, very pissed off about it, which I found odd because I'd be like, well, I mean, where are they going to go? 4.2 million people in Florida. You can't always get out. That's a fact. Yeah, exactly. And honestly, not everybody wants to leave. Who wants to just leave their house behind? Who wants to leave their house behind? Nobody. I don't think anybody would want to do that. I know I wouldn't. I mean, I don't know anybody that would, would be like, oh yeah, we got to leave because a hurricane's coming. Yeah. It's just not True Crime with Eve. And go ahead and head on over to her channel and hit the subscribe button. Some had nowhere to go. Some are disabled. Some couldn't get gas to leave because everybody ran dry. Exactly. It's just not as easy as you would think. It's sucks, to be honest with you. Let me see here. You can look at some pictures from the devastation and make no mistake about it. That's exactly what this is. Okay. Let me take this down. Yeah, of course. No problem, Eve. And I think I don't know if I would say a lot of people, but the thought is, you got this crazy wind coming. You have, and the wind, obviously the wind does tons of damage, but it's really just between that and the amount of rain that you get. And that's what it's doing now. It's just dumping massive amounts of rain everywhere. And it's like at one time, it's crazy. It's crazy how much water it dumps. Just like, and there you go. There's the wind. Yeah, the surge is absolutely terrifying. The whole thing is terrifying. There's nothing good about it. That looks like a trailer park too. Yep, exactly. That's another thing too. Jamie Johnson says, and the tornadoes it caused. Right. You're not just looking at the storm surge. You're looking at a bunch of different stuff. And obviously the person just exacerbated. That's a great idea. I mean, yeah, it's just. I mean, you're basically lucky if you have these are the kind of photos. These are just heartbreaking photos, obviously. That poor little pup, it's to me, what that looks like right there is like, it looks like some sort of bomb and went off like a legitimate, like military bomb, atomic or hydrogen or mother of all bombs. I don't know, but that's what it looks like to me. It just, they're just wiped out. Places destroyed. Yeah, and then and then you have to clean it up. That's you got fires and yes, it's unrecognizable. I mean, it does look like, unfortunately, it looks like a third world country. No doubt about it. No doubt about that. It is, you know, I mean, that's just, man. I wonder, and maybe somebody could, I wonder, are there like, I wonder if there are creatures that come up on land more so like alligators and pythons and whatever. I wonder if that happens. Not that they're not there already, but I mean, look at that. You see, I mean, it's just devastating. I mean, it looks like they're making the most out of it, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why you would. That looks like a. I mean, if that's a kid, I don't know why you would do that. Almost definitely, we saw a croc in Houston chilling in the middle of the road. No, thank you. Really? Yeah. Water moccasins. For I mean, that's just like that boat. I don't even know. Is there water near there? Probably not. There's a boat like right in the middle of the neighborhood. Yeah, and I don't know how I don't know how hard the winds were blowing, but I'm guessing that it was pretty like somebody had a sense of humor there. No ice cream for Ivan. Yeah, and just imagine boarding up your business and your home, and then you're like, man, we got to go. And yes, that's another thing. And I know sanitation is a major problem when hurricanes. The water becomes just toxic, and it's a kind of a it is a major issue, no doubt. Over 100 miles an hour. Jeez. So I remember, I can't remember what hurricane it was, but there's been a picture floating around the internet for quite a while of some shark, like it was like in New York or something. And it seems to get circulated every time a um you know, storm like this happens. Yeah, I know. Puerto Rico just gets drilled and drilled constantly. But yeah, I heard it's gathering some more strength too. And I mean, the thing was just massive. Did you see the news clip of the weather? I didn't see the news clip of the weather guy grabbing the pole. I've seen something like that before. I remember when Geraldo would cover hurricanes like in his prime, and like you can say whatever you want about Geraldo or Anderson Cooper or any of those. Shepard Smith used to do it, and they would go like right to the edge of the storm. Like basically they'd have like 1 foot in the water of the ocean, you know, like, we're coming to you live from Galveston, Texas, and the storm wall is here. It's here. You know, and Geraldo's mustache is just flapping in the wind. And he can barely stand up, and then it cuts to like a wider camera angle, and there's a guy like at his feet, like holding him by his knees. Like it's like, hey, Geraldo, like I always like, you don't have to be right there. You don't have to stand right there, Geraldo. And Geraldo would be like, we're gonna get as close to the hurricane as possible, and do you feel that energy? And I'm like, no, I can't feel the energy because I'm in my house watching you, but it looks like there's some major energy in the air. And he's like, we got here last night. He's trying to tell his story, and like he just all of a sudden he just starts tumbling, and then all you see is mustache and glasses go flying. And it's like, Geraldo, like, what are you doing? I mean, he used to do it was just crazy like that. We're here. We're going to make it to the eye of the storm. And it's like, no, you're not, dude. Get out of there, Geraldo. I remember when like there was like this, I think it was in Japan a while back. There was a massive earthquake that happened. And what, yeah, I know they really are. It's like, we haven't seen a seismic, or not a seismic, but a tropical storm like this since, and then it was like one like 2 years ago. And you're like, well, that wasn't that long ago. Yeah, always, but like Geraldo made like an event of it. He was like, dude, we're friggin' going to the beach and we're filming. It's like, well, like we don't really need you to do that, Geraldo. I can just imagine him pitching this to the like Fox or whoever the hell he worked for at the time. But I could just imagine he's like, okay, man, like I need a expense report. I need this is what I'm going to do. I need, new rain gear, new this, new that. I need a water filter, a straw water filter. I need a pontoon boat. I need a helicopter. I need this and that and this and that. And I can just imagine like the supervising producer go, well, Geraldo, what do you need all this stuff for? And he's like, dude, we're going to the hurricane. He's like, well, like, what do you mean? Like, we're going to the hurricane. Well, you don't have to like be right there. We're going right there. I need all this stuff. And I could just see Geraldo doing that, like just being absolutely just lunacy about it. We're going to the hurricane. And then you got Geraldo wearing a war helmet. Let's see. You know what? I bet you I could find. Let me see. All right, we're gonna watch Geraldo fall because he wants us to. Like, there's no other reason for him to do it. But he does it anyway. All right, let's just.
They say that anybody ignoring the evacuation warning in this area may face certain death. Geraldo Rivera is live on the seawall there, shaking hands with some of the firefighters as
But like, why are you there, Geraldo?
they walk through the area. Geraldo, tell me a little bit about, wait, we're just watching that. Tell us where you are, what's going on?
I'm in the middle of the ocean. That's where I am. I'm in the middle of the ocean. Where are you? Sitting in a studio? I'm out here. What is it people like to say? Boots on the ground. My moccasins are wet.
Well, we're on the seawall. Look at this. Look at this.
And then, like, he just falls to be wiped away and never to be seen again. I'm kidding, but
Whoa.
what did you think was going to happen, Geraldo? What did you think was going to happen? Don't do it, bro. I did it. Omnipresent. Yep. And then he's like, look at him. The ultimate professional.
I am. Are you okay? Are you okay? He keeps licking this guy, folks. Not too easy to knock down Geraldo Rivera.
What do you mean not too easy? I mean, he's the only one that fell over out there. It was easy.
I want to pick my legs out. Oh no, I know I'm going to start YouTube now.
He knew exactly what people were going to do.
They walk through the area. Geraldo, tell me a little bit about, we're just watching that. Tell us where you are. What's going on?
Well, we're on the seawall. Look at this. I want to show you something, Martha.
We're on the seawall, and now I'm under the ocean.
Whoa.
He could hear people in the control like, oh, he got knocked over. Well, no crap, dude. He's standing in the middle of a hurricane. I mean, it's just stupidest. I don't know, man. I like Geraldo because he does stuff like that, but it's just not necessary. And that's probably not the only time Geraldo's ever hit the deck. When it comes to a hurricane, I think, I say he doesn't go down that easy. He went down pretty easy, but I just don't understand the point. We're standing here in the middle of Niagara Falls. We knew it'd be wet, but we didn't know it'd be this wet. Like, what do you think what do you think is going to happen, Geraldo? Nothing good. Yeah, I mean, it's like Geraldo was trying to go viral before viral was even a thing. Does anybody remember the was it Al Capone's vault? There wasn't anything in there. Like, they did this whole buildup as like some 2-hour show, and they're getting ready to open Al Capone's vault. And like, he's like, we've found Al Capone's safe, and we are going to open it live here on the air. And then they do open it there on the air, and nothing. Shocker, right? That was a 2-hour like Fox special, not Fox News. I'm talking like the basic Fox channel. That's what it was. Yeah. I remember being like, oh, Al Capone's vault. I remember leaving that night going, damn it, Geraldo. You did us dirty, Geraldo. I saw a photo of him the other day. I didn't know he was almost like 80 years old. I had no clue. The vault was so stupid. That's funny. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Cherry and Max. Yeah. I remember it was just, I remember I was pissed. I was like, there's got to be something in there, bro. Like, the funniest part was they didn't open it before. You would think that they're like, okay, between the 5 of us in here, like we got to open this just so, we got to make sure there's some, they should have, I mean, the fact that they just opened it blindly, Geraldo's like, building this up and then there was nothing in there. I'm not really, I just don't know why he did it that way. It's just hilarious. And then he flies around the world. But anyway, there was this one in Japan. There was like a huge earthquake in Japan a while back. And there's some reporter that was like notorious for going to hot zones. And what he ends up doing is he goes to wherever they were having the earthquakes, and they were just having major aftershocks and just, one after the other. And he would be like doing the interview, talking, on the phone, being the correspondent, what do you see? And as he's like talking, he'd be like, oh man, we're having we're having an aftershock. It's a big aftershock. The whole building's moving. I'm on the 19th floor. I can feel the whole building swaying back and forth. And he's like pretty calm about the whole thing. And you're going, why are you on the 19th floor? Like, what are you doing up there? Like, who are you impressing right now? I'm on the 19th floor of this building. They say that it's supposed to sway because they call it earthquake safe. You're like, earthquake safe? Yeah, earthquake safe. What do you mean earthquake safe? Well, it gives. What do you mean it gives? I mean, it sways back and forth. Ugh. Yes, Geraldo interviewed, I think it was like a bunch of white supremacists and then some like Bloods or Crips. I can't remember. Yeah, but he got hit in the face. He got hit in the face with yeah, Mississippi Girls. He got hit in the face. You would have thought like there would have been more damage, but he's got he's got that really like killer mustache. The funny thing too is, and I don't know how many of you have ever been across the Golden Gate Bridge before, but that is also supposed to be quote unquote earthquake proof. And I don't know how anything can be earthquake proof, but the way that it is set up is that like it's on these like huge suspension cables. So there's an earthquake, it doesn't literally just like rattle. What it does is it swings back and forth. So to me, that's not earthquake proof. That's not earthquake proof. That to me is just like a big swing. I think I'd rather have the damn thing shake than to swing. But yeah, it's just, it's like terrifying to even think about. You have people riding their bikes on there. Oh, we're going across this bridge. Let's go, Yes, it does. It absolutely. Golden Gate also sways during high winds. Yeah, it certainly does. I've been on it when it did it. It sucks. I've never been on it when there was an earthquake. But yeah, and then I don't know if you guys remember the Oakland Bay Bridge when part of that bridge collapsed during an earthquake, and it was not earthquake proof and it did not swing. What it did was it collapsed. That was gnarly. Yeah. You don't want to swing on a bridge during an earthquake. like you're on if anybody's ever been on the Bay Bridge as a double decker, so I mean, if you're underneath, you're in big trouble. If you're underneath, it's not good. Jamie said, I drove over that at night in the rain, couldn't see a damn thing in 1982. Well, it's 2022 and you still wouldn't see a damn thing. Trust me. Yeah, that collapse was pretty gnarly. Yeah. It certainly was. That was a packed bridge too. It was a packed bridge. And they were talking the other day. So we had we had an earthquake the other day here, and there's this new feature that it pops up on your phone. What happens is it's like supposedly, I don't know. I don't have it installed on my phone because I don't care that much. I don't really want to be warned of an earthquake. Like as soon as it starts, like I'm warned. But apparently you can get this like text alert, almost like an Amber Alert or something like that, a little bit early to your phone. And it, causes chaos and so so we have an earthquake. I don't feel it at all. My son is at lunch with his girlfriend and I get a phone call and he goes, Dad, Kiely said that there's going to be an earthquake. I just said her name, but whatever. That there's going to be an earthquake. And I said, well, whatever. How? And he goes, well, like on the phone. And it's just so ridiculous. He goes, is there an earthquake coming? And I said, son, I don't know. I don't know if I said, I don't think that they can predict earthquakes. As far as I know, they can't predict earthquakes. I know that there's an early detection system, but predicting earthquakes that's not. And he goes, well, she got an alert on her phone. Said we had one 7 minutes ago. And I said, oh, I didn't feel anything. And he's like, is there an earthquake coming? And I said, did you feel an earthquake? No. And so he's been paranoid ever since. And so was she. But the day before that, a local paper here in my hometown, the Lost Coast Outpost, gave you a little shout there for no good reason. Terrible, terrible paper. They're rough. But they just the day before that, it was like this. There's this thing called Tsunami Con, and Tsunami Con is where a bunch of tsunami and earthquake enthusiasts and preppers meet for whatever reason. And then what they do is quote unquote prep. So the headline was, and this was the headline. It was a fantastic headline for, it says, preparing for the big one, and the big one's in quotes, preparing for the big one. Let me see if there it is. Here, I'm going to bring it up, just show you this. because I always find this interesting. You're welcome, Loco. All right, so all right. So says preparing for the big one, emergency responders gather for Cascadia Tsunami Con in Blue Lake. And Blue Lake's just this little town up the road. It's got it doesn't have much except like a little league field and a casino, maybe a gas station or two. It's very small, but like it's a nice little place. And they're saying, well, they said that they said the big one's coming. And I said, well, what do you mean the big one's coming? They said the big one is coming. And I just was like, what? So I'm reading it and I have to explain to them what clickbait is. And that they've been using this term, the big one, and not just the Lost Coast Outpost, but every newspaper that reports on earthquakes. Nobody is going to nobody's going to read this article if it says people gather for Cascadia Tsunami Con in Blue Lake. Tsunami Con. Like, who's going to click on that, right? So what you do is you lead in with preparing for the big one. And that's what they did. And a lot of people read the article, which isn't, I mean, it's, fine. It's fine, I guess. But, the big one, emergency responders. And look, there's nothing, the preparedness, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not mocking that. But so the very next day after this happens, or the very next day after this article comes out, what happens is, what happens is, we have an earthquake. It's total coincidence. We have earthquakes all the time. We're right on a fault. And I've been through hundreds of earthquakes, like most people from Northern California and Southern California. We have earthquakes all over the state. It's not uncommon, but we have an earthquake. And now people are just like, what the hell is going on? Is the big one coming? Oh, thank you so much for that super sticker. Shanta Ishta. Did I do that right? I got it, or no? Maybe. So it said, preparing for the big one. That's what everybody reads right there. And that was kind of a bummer. What up, 707? What's up, UF fact or fiction? 707. So anyway, yeah, that is, hilarious in itself, I guess. I don't know. It's just so weird. It's just so weird that's the route that they go. And I mean, I guess I understand because it got people's attention, but I had to explain to them that they've been predicting, and who's to say what the big one is? I'm guessing just a catastrophic earthquake, but like I think the biggest earthquake I've ever been in was a 7.2 in let me see. Ferndale earthquake of 1992. I remember this earthquake vividly too. Yeah. I certainly do remember this earthquake. Let me see. Here we go. Yeah, it was terrifying. I know that. I remember it very well. And I was like, I wasn't even that old. Here, let me share my screen. I'm sorry. Ohio is boring, but what else we have to worry about are tornadoes. And probably you get snowstorms too, I'm guessing, right? Like a bridge. Okay. See, that was the thing, was everybody kept saying, oh, it's the big one, the big one. And I was like, dude, I thought that was the big one. But apparently it wasn't the big one. It was just a earthquake, but it was huge. It's supposed to happen everywhere, and California is supposed to fall off into the ocean at some point. And I'm sure that makes some of you happy, but not me. Oh, look, this is from the North Coast Journal. God, it's been so long, man. I can't even remember. Like, I remember it. Pull this up here. Cape Mendocino earthquakes. There it is. 2 days. Yeah. Okay. So it says, 2 days that shook Humboldt. 25 years later, look back on the quakes that changed the course of tsunami awareness. That's another thing that we deal with, is tsunamis. Fun, right? Don't say that, Teresa. Uh, 25 years have passed since that warm spring morning on April 25th, 1992, when the Cascadia subduction zone delivered a far-reaching message. A magnitude 7.2 earthquake that shook the ground with force never before recorded in California. Lovely. At 11:06 a.m., the streets appeared to pitch and roll as windows shattered, houses were knocked off foundations, and a 15-mile long section of the coastline near Petrolia was thrust several feet up in the air, leaving tide pool creatures trapped above the ocean's reach. That same movement caused a corresponding drop in the Eel River Valley floor. But Mother Nature was not done yet. The next morning came with two powerful aftershocks, 6.5 and 6.6, amid a series of smaller ones. Those who experienced it say it almost seemed like the earth would never stop shaking. I remember that because we were out in the yard. I mean, oh yeah. I was definitely in it. I was 7 or 8 years old. Yeah, see, the uprising knows. There's earthquakes all the time out there, but not like this. Not like this. But yeah, I was in it. I remember it vividly. It was certainly a wake-up call, but no matter how you look at that, we're incredibly lucky, she says. I think it's our duty to put the good graces of Mother Nature to work and be prepared when the bigger one comes. So, like, it's like, well, is this one the bigger one or is it not the big one? This was a big one. I thought that was the big one. While the potential of the Cascadia subduction zone was only known to a small group of geologists and seismologists before 1992, dire warnings about the fault's capabilities have since garnered coverage in major publications, including the New York Times and the Atlantic. one of the main changes that came about after the Cape Mendocino quake was a general awakening to the near short tsunami danger lurking off the West Coast. And the uprisings in here, I believe you said that you were from Crescent City, so you know all about tsunamis. Now the Crescent City Bay, it has this very narrow opening. So when there's like an earthquake or something, once that water starts to rush through that very narrow opening, I mean, it just wrecks the docks of Crescent City. It always has. Mother Nature was actually being very kind to us. I disagree with that, because that it sucked. The powerful temblors not only transformed the world's understanding of what the clash of tectonic plates off the coast is capable of unleashing, but also left an incredible mark on our landscape. Like, look at that. I just shook till that thing was like, take a look at some of these. Crazy, huh? It's just the house. So the side of the house just fell off. This is like, what? That's yeah, right there. Yeah, and it was like these incredible let me see here. And Gary, thank you for the PayPal. Very much appreciated. And I'm going to say, and Cheryl, thank you so much as well. Appreciate that. Thank you. You guys are very kind. Hello, I just woke up to see this gem. Yeah. It was just the gnarliest. Those aren't even the worst photos. I mean, there are way worse photos. Let me see. I'll show you. I don't know. And I'm not sure. I've also been in I think it was a 6.6. I cracked the chimney. That was rough. I remember that. That was a scary one. But yeah, the windows just explode. I don't know why these pictures are in black and white, but I'm going to show you anyway. I have no idea why they're in black and white. But yeah, that's Main Street, Ferndale. It's like the epicenter. I'm having trouble here. Sorry. Yeah, I'm wondering why they're in black and white. I have no idea why, but anyway, yeah, this was Main Street. Look at that. An earthquake sale. That right. That's our old weatherman, Dave Silverbrand. I don't know what he's doing, but he's doing something. I mean, just crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Mary, thank you for being here and stopping in. We will see you next time. Take care. Good night. Let's see. Dogs with Job says on March 27, 1964 at 5:36 p.m. local time, an earthquake of magnitude 9.0 occurred in the Prince William Sound region of Alaska. We had tsunami warnings in SoCal. Yeah. I remember hearing about that one. Alaska has some gnarly earthquakes. My dad said when he lived in San Bernardino back in the 70s, there were earthquakes daily, and it was no big deal. They're no big deal as long as they're quick and over with. You just kind of get the, because most of them are just kind of jolts. They just go, but it's when they keep going is when they turn into a big old. Dre says, has Otis experienced one yet? Yes, he has. And he barked. And he showed that mean earthquake what he was going to do with it. He's like, dude, I ain't letting you come into my house. But yeah, my town is tsunami town. Yeah. We have tsunami sirens and all kinds of stuff. But it was like 4 or 5 in the morning. And I remember the jolt kind of waking me up, and then Otis was just like, and he coughs like he has a sore throat all the time. He's been an absolute pain in the butt today. Let me tell you, he had a visitor. Yeah, you must be up in the Mendo County. Or no, wait. Del Norte, but he has been just a pain in the butt today. And I tell you why. He had a visitor. Somebody came over to see him, and they came bearing gifts, which is normally not that big of a deal. But it was like, the gifts are loud, they squeak, and he's one of those dogs. If you take away like his new toy, he becomes upset about it, throws himself, like he's thrown himself on the ground, he buries his head into the couch or whatever. But this nice church lady brings this stuff over, and I'm gonna, like, I want to say he has plenty of toys, take them away. And she gives him, it's like this tire. So he has a tire. He has like an actual tire, but like he has like a tire that's like it's like a ball, but and then there's a little bell inside of it, so it just rings all the time when he rolls it. And he just got that today. And he has to show it to everybody that he sees. He has to show the boys, he has to show visitors, he has to show me, but he has to show each individual one. And he just like runs around with it and is like prancing, like, look what I got. Look what I got. And you're like, you don't even need that. You have too many already. And then you take it from him. And if you take it from him, it looks like you shot him with a beanbag or whatever. Because he's like, because I was like, yeah, that thing's loud. Give it here. And he falls on his side. Pfft. It's like, what the hell? So then I have to give it back to him, and then he gets it back, and then he starts hopping up and down again. Because that's what he does. He loves to hop around. And so, long story short, he's got a bunch of new loud toys that are pissing me off. And I can't take it from, I don't want a dog that's upset. I don't want a dog that's depressed. But from now on, we're going to have to make sure that he doesn't get any more like sneak toys, because it's just, they're too loud. They're just way, way, way too loud. And he loves them. And they're the dumbest, like, they're the dumbest toys ever. But yeah, and so the other day, there's a short on my YouTube page where, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but what he does is he like puts this barbell toy through that tire, and he's always very proud of himself when he does it. So when he does it, he wants to show people. And I remember he was like in right outside Peyton's room, and Peyton's kind of like with Otis, you know, you can kind of take him. You can either take him or leave him. And tries to attack. Yeah, you don't want that. So Peyton absolutely loves Otis, but Otis annoys him. And when he annoys him, he's like, get away from me, stop biting at my ankles, the that, and that's what happens. So Otis is always fighting for the attention of Peyton. And I drink coffee every morning with my Otis mug. I have an Otis glass, but I have this tumbler. This thing's dope. And it keeps things cold super long. What is this? But anyway, so he takes his toy and he flings it like as soon as Peyton opens his door, he rolls the thing in there, like down the little step. There's like one little step to get down there, and he rolls it in there. And Peyton's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, get it out of here. So he picks it up and he throws it. And then Otis runs and grabs it and then runs it back over and drops it in his room again. And Peyton's like, dude, what are you doing? And I'm like, dude, he's a baby. He's trying to show you what he did. And that's exactly what he's doing. Just trying to show people like what he did, because he was really proud of himself. And so now I think Peyton understands it a little more, but it was so funny. He's just like, please. And yeah. Lulu says, I made the mistake once buying my daughter shoes that squeak when she was just learning to walk. That'll make you wish that went on a little. It's amazing when you have a kid and then you always go, oh, I can't wait till they start walking. I can't wait till they start walking. And then they start walking and you're like, oh, I wish they didn't walk. Because a little baby, like a 1-year-old, just because they can walk really doesn't do much, because you have to, if you're holding their hand and like walking them with them, you're walking at a snail's pace. Cause they literally walk like Peyton used to walk like a gorilla. Like he would have like his arms up like this and then like back and forth, very slow. But you know, a kid starting to walk at 1, like it's not doing anything for you. It's cute. But basically all they do is get into stuff. And so, yeah, that was a mistake. I just remember that. I mean, did anybody else feel that way? That's how I always felt. It's like, oh, they're walking. Yay. That just means that you have to chase them everywhere. It's not any fun chasing kids, and then they just grab everything. Oh, look, my kid knows how to walk. And that's another thing. People get so excited, like, my kid's walking. It's like, yeah, so what? Like that's what they do. I mean, they don't really have to be taught either. My kid started walking at 10 months old. Like, cool. They're supposed to. That's a good thing. But everybody, you know, and I was the same way. I'm like, my son's walking, which is much more different now because they would much rather drive 2 blocks down the road than walk. So, you know, a whole lot of good that did. Next, they're into everything, anything and everything. And that is a fact, Jack. Anything and everything. Well, so that's a thing. Yeah. So that's a problem that I've been having with Otis. He doesn't ingest foreign stuff, but he likes to hide it in his mouth. He likes to chew on stuff. And he takes my hats. This pisses me off to no end with him. He takes my hats and choose the hat right here. So the little button, like on the top, see that? That's what he does to my hats. He pulls the buttons off of them, and he's done it to probably, no exaggeration, and this may be even an understatement, I would say 15 hats in the last year. And this one is just it's like a really well-made hat. So like I can still wear it, but the other ones are like ruined because there's a hole in the top of them. And if you wear it in the sun, that little hole, you're going to get like sunburn on your head. It feels like somebody's like on top of you with you know, like the magnifying glass in the sun. Like that's how you start to feel after a while. But yeah, this is what he does to hats. He's a hat killer, and it's just so destructive. I don't understand why he does it. And here's the thing, like everybody's like, oh, well, you don't discipline him. You don't You gotta. I've put him in his cage. I don't hit him because he's just a little thing, but I scold him. I take my finger and I wag my finger at him. And when I wag my finger at him, you guys are just going to think that this is like, you're just going to think that this is just absolutely nuts. But when I take my finger and I like wag it in his face, like, don't you do that. He takes his paw like he's Merlin the magician, and he puts his hand up and he puts it on top of mine and slowly lowers it. And I'm like this, like, oh, you're so cute. Ah. And now I don't have any hats, so yeah. Good old Otis. My little buddy. It's funny too, because he knows when he's in trouble. And I'll be like, Otis. And then he runs to like the corner of a couch, leans back, sits up with his hand. And I'm like, don't you do that. And then he takes his hand and he goes, I'm the captain now. That's what he does. That's what he does. He's just like, and I don't know. I don't get it, man. What am I doing wrong here? Every twist and turn, any movement, I'm dominated by a 34-pound potbelly pig dog. I have no hats. I've had to throw away 2 shirts today that he chewed holes in. I hang them on the back of the chair. He'll just grab them. Well, I mean, what do you do? And I know, I get it. There are people out there that are dog experts. And I asked the breeder, the guy I said, is this normal? Like, is this normal? Like, do you have this happen a lot? Is this what they do? And he goes, no, nope, never. Nope. And he goes, but you got to really teach him not to chew on your stuff. And I go, okay, well, how do you do that? You punish him. Okay. Well, how do you do that? Like I said, I don't hit my dog because first of all, it wouldn't work. Second of all, he's little, but I don't mind like putting him in his cage or, squirting him with a squirt bottle. I don't mind doing any of that stuff, but it just doesn't work. Scolding, whatever. It doesn't work. He never, ever has slowed down. Like I said, I've lost AirPods. I've lost. Here's the weird thing. He doesn't chew shoes. And I don't understand. What are bully sticks? I could buy him. It doesn't matter what I buy him. It makes no difference what I buy him. Every day, let me see if I. So right now I have a set of AirPods. No, I don't have a set. I have a AirPod that has a little tooth mark in it. The other one's toast. I mean, that one's gone. Maybe don't leave anything out for Otis to get a hold of. I agree. I agree with that. But like how okay. So there's a reason that my AirPods weren't in a case. And I'll tell you why. Sometimes I fall asleep with them in. And then I'll wake up and I know that I shouldn't do that because he sleeps in the bed with me. And sometimes he wakes up early and then I'm missing an AirPod. That's it. That's the long and short of it. And it sucks. No, actually, Lulu, it's not uncomfortable at all. It's not uncomfortable, not even a little. It's actually quite comfortable. That's why I do it. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. No, Caesar gets bit by dogs all the time. That guy, I don't think that guy trains any dogs. Every dog I've ever seen bites him, and Otis would be no different. Otis doesn't even bite people, but I could already tell you he wouldn't like that guy. You get what I'm saying? That's too funny, man. You guys are way too funny. Otis is the boss. There's no doubt about it, man. And it sucks. But he's cute. But it still sucks. Like it sucks. He sucks, but he doesn't. If that makes sense. Oh yeah. Yeah. Otis will grow up. You'll miss these days. You think so? Think I'm gonna miss those days? No, thank you. I don't miss those days. And you wouldn't either. I don't know. I've just seen the guy get bit a lot. I don't know anything about Caesar. He's always getting bit. So this is what I've resorted to for the rest of the time. The old dingle dangles. If he chews them up, I'm out $10, $20, whatever, not 200. And Lula said, "What's that saying, Josh? The days are long, but the years are short." That's what everybody says to me. I didn't know that was a saying, but dude, it's funny too, because he chews on this, he'll chew on his toys. I mean, he really gets going on it, like and then I'll feel like his head. And I'm like, dude, you're like, he chews on stuff so hard, like his little head gets hot. It's like a hot tennis ball. Like a tennis ball that's been sitting out in the sun too long. But yeah. I have a giant breed that chewed the corner wall in my kitchen. Oh my God. Yeah, he doesn't do anything quite like that. Not yet. Is he crate trained? I don't even know what that, like, what does that mean? No, I spend more time in that crate than he does. I spend more time in that crate than he does. I'll tell you that. I don't know what crate train means. What does that mean? Like if he's in trouble, he goes to his crate? No. If he's in trouble, he jumps on the couch and sits back and puts his hand up and says, "Don't touch me." So if that's crate training, then yes, he's crate trained. My doobie ripped. Yeah. Like trained to sleep in the crate. When he's in trouble, go to the crate. When you leave the house, crate open in his bed, essentially. No, none of those things happen. He's not crate trained at all. Mine are crate trained, but it's not a punishment. Like I said, I spend more time in the crate than he does. And so, no, he has a crate. I can't remember the last time he went in it. He doesn't care. Never use a crate for punishment. crates should be a dog's happy place. Oh yeah. Yeah, every place he goes. Josh, I think Creature gonna fix some potty issues because he won't want to go potty in there. No, his potty, he doesn't potty in the house anymore. He is completely housebroken. So I'll give him that. He's completely housebroken. But by no means does he's not a crate dog. He'll go in there and lay down, and if but you know, we don't leave him anywhere by himself. I'd have to chase him to throw him in there. He's a rebel like his owner. Oh, we've moved on from the stare downs. Yeah, we stare down all the time. All the time. Yes, he's completely housebroken. 110% housebroken, except if it's raining. Like on the back porch, we have like a little add-on there with, it's like the laundry room. If it's raining, he has no problem taking a dump right there. And it's funny because you won't even know that it's raining or that it rained until you go out there and be like, oh, Otis crapped in the laundry room. And then you go, well, it must have been raining last night. Must have been raining last night. Like clockwork, man. He's a barometer. He will absolutely not go to the bathroom in the rain. He just won't do it. He's a diva and it sucks. So, like I said, usually how I find out it rained during the night when I was asleep is that Otis has taken a dump on the back porch. You know what I mean? Build Otis his own room and give him everything he's ever chewed. Get a couch, TV, toy box, etc. Your hats. What do you mean? Give him his own room. He's got the whole freaking house. Yeah, Sherry, it's funny because, you know, my children don't necessarily need me that much. I mean, they do, but like, you know, they don't want to always hang out with their dad, and you know, because they both have girlfriends and friends and school, and you know, they're fairly busy kids, and so yeah, Otis gets a lot of attention, but he requires a lot of attention. But yeah, it is because I even have to tell him like he needs to go to bed because he'll just stay up and play and be loud and then bark, and it's just a pain in the butt. Really, that's really all he is. I did get him from a breeder. Yeah. Yeah. The weather forecast. And depending on how many dumps he takes, you could say, oh yeah, we had about an inch of rain last night. Bobby says, I have to hold the umbrella over my Yorkie while I'm out in the rain and block his way to run back. I do love him. There's no question about that. Yeah, he certainly does, Linda. He's he chomp right on your arm, not in a mean way, but I remember, yeah, he's just he's got a really interesting personality. Otis needs to be occupied. Try out one of those toy ball things. He stuffed peanut butter inside of. Entertain for hours. Won't chew anything while enjoying the peanut butter. Lex, I'm telling you, I find him every day with my AirPod case in his mouth. And I say, drop it. And he'll just drops it on the floor. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like I've thought about it, but like the whole, I don't want to potty train another dog. I just don't. It sucked. I never had a puppy in my life. Got to go to bed, Josh. Take care. Thank you for being here. Appreciate that. My cats are indoor animals, but Ewan keeps trying to escape sometimes when it's very cold and wet and snowy. I let her escape to drive home. Why she's an indoor cat. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think Linda said to me the other day, like, what if Otis was can you imagine him being an outside dog? And I said, I mean, he would die like the first night. I did that. My two weenie dogs are best buddies. Yeah, I'm sure. No, absolutely not. Why would they do that? Yeah, he does drop it and he'll bring stuff over to you if like, it just depends how he's feeling. Like I said, he's just a pain in the butt. What time is it here? Yeah, I think that's all the time for me, guys. I appreciate you being here and thank you for hanging out. I like doing these lives after dark. They're a lot of fun. And thanks for being here on short notice. And thank you for, see, we got a super chat or super sticker. And I believe, thank you again for the PayPal donation. It's very, very generous and nice of you guys. Thank you. Y'all have a nice night. And make sure, if you haven't, go check out the show from this morning, The Morning Drive.